Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about the Umbrella Academy Season 1, Episode 9. It is called Changes. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. We end this one a very different place to where we ended the last one in.
Yeah, we do.
A very different place. So, Alison is alive,
Yep.
although, at least for the time being, cannot talk, which of course negates her power.
Yeah, it's cruel, isn't it?
It's a very interesting handicap
Yeah.
in this case. I mean, obviously, not being able to talk is a handicap for anyone, but in her specific case,
It's worse for her than
yeah.
any of the others of the team.
Yeah. So that's going on, and Vanya's journey kind of like she's in shock, and I'm kind of surprised how quickly we seem to have dealt with Leonard.
Problem solved.
Yeah, problem kind of solved. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the scene of her going apeshit and firing about 50 blades at him.
Satisfying.
Which was a level of control beyond what we've seen her use before with the power.
Yeah.
This felt almost like telekinesis full on, as opposed to just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the way it plays is she's lifting it through the sound waves.
Yeah, but it becomes a point where if she gets enough control on it, it will just look like telekinesis.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she kills the shit out of him to put it blunt. And the others like show up
I
afterwards.
wouldn't put it bluntly. It's very sharp.
Yeah. Very true, very true. So they all show up after and like, who killed him? What's happening? Why is he dead already? Oh, this eye belongs to him. Oh,
Apocalypse averted. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's have a nice day.
and of course, I'm glad that the ending was kind of a cliffhanger indicating that Vanya was really the threat, because I was worried this was actually going to end with them all thinking it was done, and I'm like, guys, you're not fooling anyone. It's episode 9 of 10, right?
Yeah.
The whole last episode's not going to be an epilogue.
No, but I do like most of the episode being like, yeah, problem solved. Let's relax.
Yeah, they think it's all done. They think that it's a done deal. And
Yeah.
Vanya...
5 in particular is mixed on this.
Yeah, because he's had this mission his entire life, and now it's not there. Klaus compares it to being an addict, essentially. He's like, oh, you're addicted to this hunt for the apocalypse and stopping it, like I'm addicted to drugs. And I don't think it's a perfect comparison, but I can see what you're saying.
You get his point.
Yeah. But so he's tried that. But so Vanya like hears this like the last message that Alison left her on her phone, and it's enough to motivate her to go back to the academy. And
Yeah.
if I have any complaints, as far as Vanya's story goes right now, it would be that she doesn't really seem like she knows she killed Leonard. Like after it happens, there's almost like no change in her demeanor. Like she's still just kind of in I'm shocked I hurt Alison mode, if that makes sense.
I think she's just in shock in general.
Yeah, it felt like it never even like.
And I think as well, part of the difference is with Leonard, she's like, no, you're a creepy bastard. Alison was my sister.
I get that, but here's the thing though. This is the first person she's intended to kill.
That's true, yeah.
I feel like there should be maybe some weight to that, and maybe it'll come up in all bit thing. I think like Diego theorizes, oh, she probably killed that bastard, right? But that is as far as they ever get to like actually knowing she did it. Like, there's never really a conversation with her.
Yeah.
That kind of really brings it out. But she comes to the house.
I mean, you can blame Luther for that one though.
Well, yeah. I'm a little bit worried that whatever happens in the final episode, we're going to be blaming Luther for it, because Luther, like, he's very understanding, and I was like, something doesn't feel right about this. He's been too understanding. He should be raging at her right now for hurting Alison. And he opens his arms for a hug. He's like, "This is your home," and then just starts to squeeze really tight, and the house starts shaking because Vanya's power's going nuts. And he's just like knocking her out. He's not killing her, but like for a second I thought, is he just going to kill her? Right? Like because the last time we saw him in the episode, it was when Pogo was saying there's one more secret your father had about Vanya's powers that we have to talk about, and it ended on a cliffhanger. And I was almost thinking like, is what Pogo said about the potential of her powers so devastating that he knows it's the apocalypse and he's just trying to take her out right here and now? And he's not. He's just knocking her out, and they put her in the soundproof room. Down the basement.
I think it's now obviously they're all the same age, right?
Yeah.
But Luther in many ways feels like the oldest, right? In that he feels like the firstborn. The way he's the closest to the father.
He's a leader. That was the thing. He was always raised as the leader.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's fitting that it's the son becomes the father in many ways, that it's him that goes down that.
Yeah, because obviously the last couple of episodes he's been very against what his father's wanted from him, but here he just kind of sees the point of doing it, and
He kind of makes the exact same choice.
yeah, and he puts Vanya in there, and I think it's a credit to the rest of the characters that every single one of them saying no, we can't leave her in there. Klaus wants her out. Diego wants her out. And he's like, even if you're right and she is dangerous, we're not going to be able to help her while she's in there. Like, she needs our help. We need to do it.
And then Allison comes down.
Yeah, Allison walks in and he's like, let her go. Not with her mouth, of course. She does it with the pen.
Got a little notepad.
Yes. Yeah. And she's like, no, let her go. And Luther won't let her. Like, she tries to walk past him, and Luther just stands there and bodyguards it.
Yeah, I wonder if... Because obviously Vanya can't hear this, right? But she can clearly see them making an effort. Or at least some of them, like especially Allison.
Yeah.
She can, read what she's saying. As well as anyone else. I wonder how much she still holds them all responsible versus just Luther and Poga.
Yeah. So we have, like, that goes on. Allison goes and lies in bed and doesn't even want to talk to Luther. No pun intended. But everyone's around the house and or whatnot, and Vanya starts to talk to her own 4-year-old self in the reflection, and it's like they're just like Dad. They're trying to keep us down all these years. They're all against us. Yada yada yada. And she starts to listen to the sound of her own heartbeat and uses the sound of her own heartbeat to break out the room.
It's kind of genius, isn't it?
Well, I do have one question though. Why can't she just use her own voice like this?
Because it would go dead. I think it's more about the reverberations of it, the actual sound wave itself, rather than just the sound being. It's not about her focusing on it. I don't think it's about her channeling the sound wave into something. In the same way that when she's throwing the knives, she's channeling the sound waves to pick them up. Right? In that room, because of the way it's designed, the sound waves won't go anywhere. They won't. So you can't have something build up in the same way that everything else has. Whereas a heartbeat goes inside your body and then I assume she just explodes outwards.
Yeah, okay. No, I like her solution for this. My only critique of the ending with Vanya is she has these like eyes. Her eyes have changed, right? And given the conversation with the inner self, as it were, the demonic side of her, we'll call it, I don't know if I like the idea, because at least right now this feels almost like an alternate personality.
Yeah, I get that.
She looks possessed at the end.
Yeah, with the eyes and she goes really pale. It feels like they're trying to emulate her outfit from the comic in some ways, which is it's literally the front cover of the trade, so you could just anyone can go and look at that quite quickly if they wanted to.
Yeah.
It feels like they're trying to emulate that without. It's a bit out there to actually replicate for TV, I think, even for this show.
Yeah, it feels like it's an alternate personality, and up until this one conversation in the tank with herself, there's been no indication of like anything like that from her all season.
Yeah, I get that. I wasn't really reading it that way as much. I think it was more just she kind of snapped this repressed memory essentially, from when she knew she had powers, and it's like, okay, that side of her has been kept hidden, her whole life. When Allison told her to, think she was ordinary, most of her did. But, there's a bit of it that just was locked away, and that's why it's still the 4-year-old.
Oh, yeah, but I'm combining this with the final image of her with the eyes having changed. She feels like she's a completely different person standing there. It almost feels like, in breaking through to her, they're not trying to talk Vanya down anymore. They're trying to break into, so Vanya can hear them almost now. At least that's kind of the vibe this final moment was giving me, and I just don't think the show is necessarily set up for that. Now, I could be wrong here. This may not be the case at all. It's just that's how it looked with the eyes having changed.
Fair enough. It never played that way to me personally. Just it was more just when she uses the power to that extreme, it kind of affects her body, because we've seen her go and she went paler when she was getting worked up with Allison and with Leonard. So I wonder if that's just the way it affects her, rather than being a different personality.
Okay. So There was a fun flashback at the start, actually. She apparently kept hurting nannies over and over again, and that's why Robot Mum was built, because she could withstand it and do the Exorcist head twist to fix herself.
That is a very creepy moment in this show, somehow, though.
Do you know what's weird about it? Is I was like, wait, how hard did the other nannies get? Like, did she kill someone? because part of me was thinking before she got back up.
One did go out a window.
Yeah, which made me laugh, admittedly. But when she first went down, when Grace first went down, I thought, wait, is this like a real woman? And then the robot was designed after her because she died, and it was like a way to keep.
And then she steps back, and it's the way she takes like 3 or 4 steps with the head backwards.
Yeah.
That's quite creepy.
And it's like, okay, no, this is already the robot, and Hargreaves and Pogo are just like, nodding at each other. Yes, like, mission accomplished. yes, very good. That won't scar her for life.
Yeah.
So we had that going on. And then elsewhere, of course, like, Diego still wants to kill Hazel. Hazel does show up at the academy, wanting to team up with Five to stop the apocalypse, but Five's like, apocalypse is already sorted. We're done.
We solved it, mate. Go home.
Yeah, he asks, he's like, Hazel gives him the guns from the crime scene so they can exonerate Diego.
Yeah.
So that's all fine. But Diego does have a bit of a fight with him first.
It's kind of a fun little tussle.
Yeah, and then Klaus, he has a fun moment where he's trying to get drugs again, and Ben hits him and actually makes contact.
It does something, yeah, and it's like, oh shit, that was quite a big moment.
Yeah, you swayzed me, I believe.
Yeah, it was,
the line.
yeah.
And it's like, okay, and it's like, because later on they're clapping their hands together and they're going right through each other, so it's clearly not something that they've mastered yet, or because Ben says Klaus did this, and I'm like, I'm sure that's true to a point, but I still believe Ben's throwing the punch, if that makes sense.
Yes, I think when he says Klaus did it, it's playing off of, Klaus said that, or Hargreaves said that I could do so much more. I think this is the more that he can make them be able to physically interact with the world to some extent.
I wonder if he could even downright make them appear to other people as well. Like, if he
maybe that's the furthest step.
Yeah, can he get to the point where he conjures Hargreaves, and Hargreaves will be in the room talking to them, all of them?
Yeah, exactly. Quite possibly, but this is the first step, and this is Klaus. It's it's the kids clapping thing, right?
Yeah.
It's essentially a training montage for Klaus.
Yeah, they're trying. They're clearly trying to touch hands again, and it's not working. But you'll get there.
Because I really like it, because the first time you see it during this montage at the end. The first time you see it, you don't see Ben. You just see him doing it, and you understand what he's doing. But you don't know if it's working or not until the second time when you see them going straight through each other.
Yeah. I think the thing with Luther as well, just to go back to him, is that obviously all the characters have been screwed up by their father. I think his screw ups here, it's really like, okay, sure, he was alienated, he was lied to, but the effects of the screw ups and how his father treated him are almost more explosive than a lot of the other characters, in the sense that he sort of drilled into his head how to tackle situations, that this is what's going to lead to this particular predicament they're in.
Yeah, it's funny because, but he has social problems.
Yes.
He lived on the moon for years, but he still felt more well-adjusted than some of the others, right?
Yes.
He felt more level-headed.
Until today.
Until today, and then it's like, no, this is what happens when you trusted in Dear Daddy. That's kind of a crazy bastard.
Yeah, he's too trusting of what his father was, even now. Obviously, the worst of the case is probably Vanya herself, because, explosive could destroy the world. That's pretty extreme. But
it is.
In terms of how the way he processes thought, Luther actually might be the most screwed up somehow.
He might be, yeah. Even though he seemed so level-headed, right?
So they've all got healing to do, assuming they survive the next episode. I'm not sure how the next one's going to end. Like, do we actually do the apocalypse and we spend the season in the post-apocalyptic wasteland?
Cool.
Do we fix it? What do we do next episode? I don't know, but we'll leave with Vanya leaving. She's on her way out. As worth mentioning, the handler shows up because Cha-Cha gets Agnes and is going to kill her in front of Hazel, and her and Hazel have a fairly comical fight scene.
It is, yeah. It's fun.
Yeah, throwing things at each other. Cha-Cha eventually wins and is about to kill Agnes, but time freezes, and then walks the handler.
She's fallen in, and as it freezes.
Yeah, and she's got some scarring on her face from the explosive that she twisted. Admittedly, not that much scarring, given what it was, but
Yeah, I figured it'll just be a new body, but then there is a scar
There's
because
a
they kept
scar.
talking about new bodies, and they were going to get number 5 a new body.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wonder if she's just waiting for a new body. Like, it takes time to build one.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. So that was good on. But no, I mean, it was another focused episode. It was obviously the shortest one we've had so far, which obviously helped with that. But
Yeah.
it was very much the aftermath of what Vanya did last episode, and the argument now of what to do with Vanya. And I think it is notable again. Every character but Luther was like, no, let's talk to her. Let's work this out together. And Luther is the one who's impeding that process.
It's like he's learnt nothing all season.
It is what we've been saying for a few episodes now, is that seemingly the way to save the world is probably for them all to work together. And I can't remember what episode it was, but it was really early on. Someone said it'll take the whole team to save the world, and I'm like, yeah, the whole team. That includes Vanya.
Exactly. It's stared him right in the face.
Yeah. So hopefully someone realizes something next episode, and we can.
Yeah.
Can
that'd be nice.
have
I'm
a
looking forward to it though, because this was real good.
Yeah, have a happier ending, perhaps. So, a lot to consider about how they handle the Vanya stuff, but again, I'm just kind of going on one whiff at the end of it. I need to actually see what they do next episode.
Yeah, it might not actually play out that way.
Yeah, it may not. It may not even be remotely like that. The image for the next episode, though, she's playing the violin with those eyes again. So we'll see. We'll see if she's like proper, like changed her personality because she's overcome with this power.
Yeah, could be.
She's power mad. She's worse than Riker. So that was a really weird reference to a Star Trek Next Generation review we did recently, but just
yeah, but it's like 30 years out of date as a reference.
Yeah, well, no, but if you watch the content on our channel, you might have just seen that, or you will.
I mean, for most people.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it'll be up. It'll be up publicly by the time this goes up. Yes. So.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it'll be the last Star Trek review that's up publicly by the time this one goes up.
Okay, then that's fine.
Yeah. So. There you go. But episode 9 was pretty solid. Season as a whole has been really solid, as we've been saying. So, looking forward to the finale day after tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes, how it wraps up, and where it leaves us for season 2. So let us know what you thought of episode 9 in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show and the channel, you can head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. Keep the reviews coming. Keep us reviewing more stuff. You can do that over there. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?